I think I got fuzz all over my man, I hate this. Greetings, my fearless frontliners, my fellow guardians of the galleries. I'm William Young, and this is my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a current, aspiring, retired, or soon to be retiring correctional professional, and you're looking for content that's informative, engaging, educational, and is here to elevate the profession, then you're in the right place. And if you're looking for a channel to commiserate your terrible, short-lived correctional career with, well, this is not going to be that. So today we're going to tackle a topic which I always talk about tackling a topic or diving in or digging in. I got to figure out something a little bit different to do. But today we're going to tackle a topic that hits home for a lot of people, that lands with a lot of people, especially in this profession in corrections: negative coworkers and leaders and how to deal with them. Because let's be honest, a lot of stress in this profession, it doesn't come from the inmates. It comes from us. It comes from each other. In fact, a white paper released by One Voice United a few years ago, and I'll throw a link in the description, you should read this, states that 60% of staff surveyed says that leadership is their biggest stressor, followed by the staff, and then the inmates somewhere towards the bottom, right? It's like The Walking Dead. It's like the zombies. Survivors learn to navigate the zombies, to kill the zombies very quickly, and it's always the other people that are the problem. And it's crazy because I hear this all the time. Staff is harder to deal with than the inmates. Leadership is toxic and out of touch. My coworkers make this job absolutely unbearable. So what do you do when the negativity is coming from inside the house? And that's what we're going to break down today. But before I go any further, I need to thank the members of the Just Corrections Patreon community for supporting the channel, for supporting the mission. I could not create this content without them. Thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. And if you're watching, if you're listening and you want to contribute to the channel, please consider becoming a member. I will throw a link in the description below, or if you'd rather just buy a super thanks, you can click that little thank you button below me and support the channel. All right, let's get into it. So I came across a podcast. Actually, this is something that my wife turned me on to, a person named Mel Robbins, and I've only listened to a couple episodes, so I don't know a ton about her, but I really like the approach to dealing with negativity and other people's opinion of you. And at the root of the whole thing is simple. It's a simple, brutal truth, right? You cannot control what people think about you. You cannot control what they say, what they do, or how they perceive you, right? And so you may be the hardest worker in your facility, the most dedicated officer, the most passionate leader, and someone will still find a reason to criticize you. So I want you to think about that for a second. And the illustration, the example that she gives was to think about the people that you love the most, right? And are there things about them that you dislike, that drive you crazy? And yes, there are, right? There are things about you that drive them crazy. Yes, absolutely there are. The point is, right? The point is that we can't control people or their thoughts, so we should stop assigning so much value to them, stop giving them so much power. And she has this theory in her book, and I got to check out the book. It's called the Let Them Theory. Your worker, it goes like this: your coworker is talking behind your back, so let them. Your supervisor doesn't appreciate your effort, so let them. Someone is making assumptions about you, then just let them. Because here's the thing, their negativity is not about you, right? It's about them. It's about their experiences, their insecurities, their upbringing, their perspective, their baggage. It's not your responsibility, guys. It's not your job to fix them, right? You don't have to understand them. You don't have to win them over. You don't have to lug their baggage around, right? So let them. And I know it's easier said than done, but let them, and then take your power back. And I know what you're thinking. Why are people like this? Why do they act this way? And here's the answer. It's not about you, so who cares? Some people may be miserable because they don't know how to be happy, right? Some people may be overly critical because they don't know how to be encouraging. Some people may be negative because that's all they've ever known or experienced. The bottom line here is that they're carrying their own trauma, their own stress, they're fighting their own battles. So instead of asking why are they like this, ask yourself this question: why do I care? Because the only thing that you can control is you. So how do you stop letting negative people control your emotions? How do you take that power back? Well, the first step is to recognize the story that you're telling yourself, right? When someone is rude, someone is being dismissive or condescending, then ask yourself, what story am I telling myself about the situation? Are you assuming that they don't respect you, that they think you're weak, that they don't like you? So, and then challenge those thoughts, right? Because their opinion doesn't define you. What they think of you doesn't define you, right? So detach emotionally from that. Understand that not every battle is worth fighting, that you don't have to react to everything that's said. We just talked about it. I just had a phone call with my buddy, and we were talking about an altercation that some people got into. And it was all because one of them was stirring the pot. One of them was getting, people worked up, saying things they wanted to start this altercation. And although that's maddening and it's super frustrating and it's super hard to avoid those things sometimes, ultimately you do have the power to do that. You do have the power to walk away. You do have the power to respond, or not respond, but respond with logic, right? And not emotion, okay? And then number 3, stop trying to win people over. Here's the kicker, and here's what some of us have a problem with. You will never make everyone happy. Some people, regardless of how you are, regardless of how you treat them, will have already decided how they feel about you. And that's why, and I found this and I love this, people don't have a problem with you, they have a problem with their perception of you. So instead of wasting your energy trying to change their mind, because you will never change somebody's mind, right? If they have their brain set on something, that's what it's going to be. So instead of focusing on how they feel about you, focus on how you feel about you, and then set some boundaries. Number 4, set some boundaries. If someone is consistently negative, then stop hanging around them. Limit your interactions with them. And if you have to work with them, if you're on the same floor or the same shift, then just keep it professional, right? Keep it professional, keep it short, keep it to the point. Do anything you can do to protect your peace, right? You don't have to be drinking buddies with the people, right? You just have to work with them. So don't allow yourself to get sucked into their madness, right? And then refocus your energy. Instead of worrying about who dislikes you, focus on the people that love and support you. Who supports you? Who loves you? And then what do you love about yourself, right? And how do you improve? How do you grow? And I'm going to be honest with you, when they were talking about this, when I was listening to the show, and I understand the concept, right, of just forgetting and ignoring and not giving any value or time to the way that people view you, the thoughts that they have about you, because you can't control them. But here's what happens. If you stop worrying about what other people think of you, then you have to deal with what you think of yourself, right? And that could be maybe even worse, right? This could be like your own worst critic times a million. And that's something that you'll need to work on too, right? And maybe you're projecting some of those insecurities, some of those poor opinions of yourself onto other people. Maybe you just assume that they feel that way about you, but here's I agree with her. It doesn't matter. You can't control their mind, their thoughts, nothing. You could have a great time. You could have a great time. You could sit down, you could hang out with them, and they could walk away and think whatever they're going to think about you. You cannot control that. So let it go. Let it go. And then focus on how you feel about yourself. Focus on your opinion of yourself. Find and understand that you are the source of your own happiness. That you have to be your number one fan, your own cheerleader, whatever silly phrase or thing that you want to assign to that. Right? But that's what you have to do. And at the end of the day, remember this. At the end of the day, negativity is everywhere. Okay? It's going to be at work. It's going to be at home. It's in the world. And you cannot control what other people do, but you can absolutely control how you respond to what other people do. So the next time that somebody is gossiping or criticizing or trying to bring you down, just let them, and then move on. All right, guys, thank you for hanging out with us today, for listening to this episode of the Just Corrections podcast. I got new episodes coming at you every day, 4 p.m. Central Time. Set a reminder on your phone. Set a reminder on your Google Calendar so you'll never miss an episode. I also have a link in the description below where you can click on that link and add this event to your calendar so it'll pop up and remind you that there's a new video for you to watch. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Make sure you follow the show on YouTube or wherever you're consuming the show. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, LinkedIn. Leave a comment, get involved, engage with the content, share the show with your friends, your family, fellow correctional professionals, whoever you think will get something out of the Just Corrections podcast. And if you're interested in supporting the show, don't forget about the opportunity to be a member of the Just Corrections Patreon community. I'm doing a little something different where I break down the content of my books, and that's only going to be over on the Patreon channel. So I put a link to that in the description below. Also, make sure you check out the books, The Nothing That Never Happened, Trained to Change, available on Amazon. And if you'd like to bring me out to speak or present at your event, then send me an email at justcorrections.booking@gmail.com. All right, guys, that's all I got. Until next time, be smart, stay safe, stay sane, and let them.